Bhori is an Indian drama. This is the story of a village in Uttar Pradesh where the birth of a girl is no less than a curse. The story shows that when the beautiful girl gets married in this village, the men of the village somehow keep an eye on her. How some influential people of the village make every effort to sleep with her. For this they come up with any immorality explanation. There is a small village in the corner of the country. Most of the people in this village work as laborers in the brick kiln of Chaudhry Ajmer Singh. In this kiln a man called Danwa 45 years old and lives alone in the house. He has no intention of getting married at the moment. He had already assumed that forever would remain unmarried, he would not get any girl. But the priest of the village looked out a girl for him. This girl's name is Bhori. She is about 21-22 years old. People say that she is carrying bad luck with her always. Till date his marriage has been fixed thrice. One, in the pavilion, he died of a heart attack. The second relationship, after fixing the marriage, could not even live until marriage day, and the third was the most unlucky. He died after falling from a horse on the day of his marriage. Danwa's wedding, there are 5 special quests and among them there is someone special, that is Chaudhry Ajmer Singh. He is the only employer of the village. Most of the villagers work in his brick kiln. Soren, the manager of this kiln, is also special in itself. Although he is one of the laborers, but now he is Chaudhry's special man. He does nothing and is in the forefront of exploiting the workers. There is also a sleeve snake village priest who has done many abominable scandals in the name of religion. Every ritual of his is like that, only for the exploitation of the villagers. If he could snatch money from people, or his eyes are always on ladies from village. Lala, who runs the shop in the village, is also one of the kind people like priest. He lends but does not hesitate to even scrape women's body for its recovery. Above all, the most evil singer is a doctor. Such a doctor cannot be the form of God at all. Chaudhry's 2 younger brothers Daya and Gopal has come as well in the wedding ceremony of Danwa. These brothers are funding the pandit and his elder brother that they got it for Danwa, such a young and beautiful girl, but he doesn't care about them. There is no movement in Danva's trousers. What will he do with such a beautiful girl? Chaudhry's brothers are the 6th rascal of the village. There is no such girl in the village on whom they have not cast. On the day of marriage, when the people were busy in the ceremony, they took Basanti, a mentally challenged girl near the village, to the forest and raped her, fearing that she would tell anyone about it. They killed her and threw in the river. They thought that they would survive as usual, but this time it was about rape as well as murder. It was difficult to shut the mouth of the villagers. Moreover, even the inspector was in conflict with Chaudhry. He seems to have an old enmity with him. The next day, Chaudhry took brothers to the temple to repent of the misdeeds. The inspector of the police station caught them in the temple itself, and when Chaudhry showed the attitude, inspector slapped on the cheek of Chaudhry in front of both the brothers. Later, the inspector thrashed both of them in the police station so much that both of them gave the whole story. Then Chaudhry consulted the city lawyer for bail. The lawyer told him that the inspector has imposed such sections on his brothers that it is difficult to get a bail, but one thing can be done. Some solution can be found by setting up early, and it will take more money. Chaudhry had no money at the moment. But the pundit gave him an idea that why should he not deduct money from the wages of the workers in the kiln? Money will be easily arranged. Then about 300 laborers used to work in the kiln. If the stormy wages of all the laborers are deducted, then the money for bribing the judge will be enough. The laborers of the village cannot leave the work under compulsion, because there is no other kiln to do this work, and if any laborer protests, then what is Soren for, when his hooliganism will work? The life of all the workers has become hell due to only half wages. Danwa is also one in them. When Danwa protests, he has to face unimaginable words from manager. Soren tell him to send his newly wedded wife to him for more money. On the other side is Lala, who wants to take advantage of Bhori in exchange for giving goods on credit. When Denwa asks Chaudhary for balance of wages, he had to listen Chaudhary's bad words. The condition of the laborers is really bad due to the shortage of wages. Denwa is not alone. The son of a laborer Katwal, who works with Denwa, is ill and he does not even have money to buy medicine. In such a situation, Budwa's wife Malti has to pay the bill by sleeping with the doctor for the treatment of her son. When Bhori tells Denwa about this, then he says that this is the fate of the poor, one has to do such work under compulsion. It's not his fault in this. The next day, when Denwa goes to Chaudhary to ask for his due wages, Chaudhary tells him to send his wife to him, he will get the wages immediately. Denwa replied that he will not send his wife to him, instead he will give up his wages. Due to this, Chaudhary get mad and tells Soren and his man to beat him up. Denwa was beaten up so badly by his man, however, Denwa did not die due to the beating but admitted to hospital. His condition was bad. The doctor applies ointment and bandaged his wounds, but the doctor handed over a big amount bill in the hopes of doing so he can take advantage of Bhori like Malti. But he could not succeed in motto as she paid all his money by selling the grain lying in the house. People say that Bhori is ambassador of bad luck, that's why Denwa is in such a condition. The clouds of premature death start hovering over him after he married Bhori. Bhori has also started feeling this fact that she may bring bad luck to Denwa's life. Then one day she goes to the temple to meet the pundits to find some solution for it. The pundit tells her to solve this problem she will have to come to the temple alone at night. Penance is difficult, she should know first. She has to come to him wearing only one garment. Bhori tells about rituals to her husband Denwa. Then he says that if the disease was cured by performing rituals, then no one will visit the doctor. He knows what is going on in the mind of the priest. So he tells that he will be fine on his own, she doesn't need to be worried about it. That night the priest waits for Bhori for a long time, but she does not come to the temple. So Lala is making fun of Pandit on this matter, but Soren says that he fired Denwa because he would be compelled to send his wife to him. But Lala bought his grains and paid him money. She even paid doctor's bill and didn't come to the priest. All his hard work is gone in vain. But Lala says this is not his fault and all the fault is done by doctor. Instead of curing Denwa, if he had given him such a medicine that would have killed him, then they would have been having fun with Bhori today. Then the doctor says that he has a solution, just wait and see what he is going to do. The next day the doctor calls the meeting with the help of Chaudhary and does it in front of the entire village. An emergency is coming in the village, an epidemic is about to spread. He has a medical report in his hand. The doctor says that this is Denwa's medical report. He has a disease called AIDS. The people of the village do not understand what the disease is. But there is a dangerous disease in the numbness, they have no idea how it spreads and what is the reason for it. How true the report is. The doctor and Chaudhary say that Denwa has to be taken out of the village or else everyone will be killed by the infection. The whole village will become equal. This village is full of illiterate and all the people of the village break ties with Denwa. He is cast out. Poor Denwa has to live in a hut outside the village. Denwa did not even keep Bhori with him. He distanced himself from her too. Somewhere, she should not get any disease. Anyway, he has a severe cough. Denwa cannot do any work while living outside the village, but he have to eat to stay alive. That's why Bhori has to work in the brick kiln, but people are looking at her like vulture in every visible part of her body. One day a boy from Mumbai comes to shoot a document on the laborers. Making a documentary on the condition of the workers. A lady of the village cooks food for the boy, makes Bhori get the job of cleaning his house because it was difficult for her to work in the kiln because of the vultures of the village. The boy who came from Mumbai was young and while looking after him, Bhori's desire for him had increased. Boy has finished shooting for documentary. As he was ready to leave, there was raining heavily, so she accompanied him to his car to send him off. When they were on the way to the car, they both fall in love to each other. They thought that in the darkness of the night no one would have seen their love and romance, but a boy sees them hugging each other who work for Soren, the manager of Kill. The same night he informs 5 of the village's rascal about what happened. All 5 of them was so furious that Bhori has chosen that town boy instead of them. Therefore, the next day, in front of the whole village, the boy gets beaten up completely, and the meeting was organized on Bhori on the charge of making bad name of the village. After this whole spectacle, Danwa also breaks up with Bhori, as she has cheated on him. Has she done adultery? Now it has become difficult for Bhori to live in this village. Neither has she had any work nor the support of her husband Danwa. She is the only alone in the whole village. After suffering alone in the village for a few days, she decides that now she will do what the people of the village want her to do. She sent message to Chaudhary and all his men that he was ready to sleep with them, but for this she would charge 7 times more than the other girls. Hearing the high price, initially none of the 5 pretends not to go near him, but the same night the 5 reach Bhori's house one after another. But today only one of them can inaugurate Bhori's new business, which will pay the best price, will cut the ribbon. Lala has brought the most money here. That is, the first night with Bhori will be Lala. That night there he has a lot of fun with Bhori. Everyone in the village was crazy about Bhori, so when people came to know that Bhori had started doing business, they started making efforts to sleep with her even for 7 times more money. From the doctor to the priest and from the priest to the laborer, the taste of the exterior went well. Every man of the village, who spent time with some other woman except his family members, all offered Bhori as soon as they got a chance. Now everything has become normal, but Danwa was forced to live outside the village knowing everything. Bhori sold his honor. Here the lawyer told Chaudhary that the money should be settled before settlement. He will get the settlement done after paying the money, when it seemed that his brothers would get bail. The judge was transferred and his money ran out. Then the lawyer says that he himself has a solution left for him as to how he can get them back by getting her grandmother settled. But when Chaudhary goes to his grandmother, then she tells that the girl who was raped and killed by her brothers was her own child. Basanti was the daughter of Chaudhary. Chaudhary had illicit relations with the old lady's daughter-in-law when she was alive. She was pregnant from that. As Chaudhary learned Basanti was his own daughter, he dies from inside. He had given up his youth in the hope of having a child. Basanti may have been mentally ill, but she finally had a daughter. After this truth, he started living very silent. He doesn't talk to anyone. He was in deep depression. One day he died of mental stress. Nobody understood this. What had happened to Chaudhary all of a sudden? But even after his death, the same rituals continue in the village, which Chaudhary had left behind during his lifetime. The doctor's daughter has been ill for a few days. Even after trying different types of medicines, her disease kept increasing. There is always fever. When his blood sample is sent to town, he gets bad news. Her daughter has AIDS. How can this happen to her daughter? He beats up his daughter and asks with whom he has blackened his face. Then she tells that her assistant Shiva had an affair in the clinic. When the doctor beats the assistant, who and with whom does he sleep? Then he tells that he used to go to Bhori. That is, he has got this disease from Bhori. On hearing the name of Bhori from Manu's mouth, the doctor's face gets blown away because he has had fun with Bhori many times. This means that the other men of the village, Soren, Lala, Pandit and every man who has slept with Bhori, are in the grip of this disease. The doctor knows that it cannot be cured. After some time him too fall ill and he will die. As time is passing, the number of sudden death in the village is increasing. When this news came to media, there is an epidemic in the village. The blood of the dead bodies has tested. Out of 600 people, 150 people have been AIDS. It includes all men and women. When the villagers come to know that they have AIDS, which can definitely take their lives, they consider Danwa a culprit because the doctor had taken the name of Danwa, first person with the disease, when Danwa was sick few years ago. When the crowd brought back Danwa by pulling and beating up him and his blood is checked, it is found that he doesn't have disease. That report was false at that time. The doctor read it in front of the village meeting. In reality, Bhori had a disease not from Danwa but from a boy who had come from Mumbai to do documentary shoot. The word spread in the entire village when it is found that the doctor lied that Danwa had AIDS. The people of the village intrude on the doctor and his friends. Then the whole cow falls on them like a wolf. The police also gave exemption to the villagers. They killed the doctor, Lala, Pandit and Soren by beating them. But on the other hand, Danwa came to know that Bhori is also ill. He goes to see her, but by then she too has died. He was angry with Bhori. But now he gave last rite of Bhori with full respect, love and care. This entire story is about karma, and what you sow you will reap same. Even though little while you feel bad is whining, but ultimately truth will win and bad will ends. Hope you like the story, and if you like it, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.